And we're joined over the phone to talk more about the Sustainable Development Goals by Dr. Pasant Fahmy, an economic expert. Good afternoon to you, ma'am.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Can you tell us a bit about the Sustainable Development Goals that Egypt set out with the UN, and why is it important for nations to achieve this?
It is extremely important for the to ensure social stability,
yes,
to ensure decent life, to ensure proper standard of living, or else you would find instability all over the world, meaning it is not a luxury now that every country has to put in place a proper strategy for a decent life for its inhabitants,
yes,
because the world is open, they see everywhere, they can talk to each other. So it is not anymore a luxury
yes,
to disregard or to ignore the standard of living and decent life for people. And that's why Egypt has been extremely successful in that respect, and it has had a very comprehensive plan which changed totally the indices where we see all the international institutions talking about it. But definitely we still have a long way to go,
yes,
but we are on the right track. And I repeat, there is no strategy in the world which does not really look at people and their standard of living and their right to ensure decent life could be a successful one. We had a very good experience, a very successful experience, a very good story to tell everybody else according to international standards.
yes.
So I think every country in the region and in the world has to follow suit to ensure proper standard of living for its inhabitants.
Yes. Does the SDGs correspond or work in parallel with the vision for Egypt of 2030?
Definitely, because now I say the world became one country.
Yes.
You cannot disregard standard of living between countries, or I want to say you cannot ignore the differences.
Yes.
The people are seeing each other, the world is open, a problem anywhere in the world affects the whole world. So I think it has to go in line with definitely the United Nations standards,
Yes.
has been agreed upon by all countries in the world, and definitely as well or our standards, so would it be regional or international.
Yeah, and the president also spoke about recent challenges that face the world, like the coronavirus pandemic, climate change, and so forth. Obviously, the pandemic has affected the world economy in general, but climate change is currently the big thing. Is this something that Egypt also is working on when it comes to green energy as part of the Sustainable Development Goals as well?
The change of climate is a very big problem and very complicated problem.
Yes.
Because it will change the style of life all over. You have seen what is happening in the upper half of the globe.
Yes.
Look what is happening in the United States, in Europe, in China, and everywhere. They have to work on it very professionally, because I'm sorry to say that they were behind that change. Yes, we can help, but we have been always in a proper way, meaning we witnessed always a proper development in the green economy, the
Yes.
blue economy. We watched very carefully not to really create problems for the climate, but the main players or the major players are the large industrial countries in the world, because the way they use industry unfortunately caused those problems. So now they have to change the systems, and I repeat, it will be extremely expensive, extremely complicated, but if they don't do that, the price will be the whole globe.
Yes, the president did say that as well, that the developed nations need to shoulder the responsibility when it comes to climate change.
They are the responsible. We are not responsible because of the technologies they use in
Yes.
their industries, and which has caused all the problems that you see in the change of climate. They are the responsible. They have to bear or to care the largest part of the cost, because the cost is not financial cost only. The cost will be that they have to change totally the way they live, the way they move. They cannot keep it like this. It has to change. So it's going to be very complicated
Yes.
and very expensive.
There's also the fact that Egypt, I'm not sure if my numbers are correct, but I believe that the statistics I read is that Egypt plans within maybe the next 4 to 5 years to have about 20% of its energy coming through green resources. Is this something that you think is possible within the next few years?
Yes, it is possible. We have been always working on the green economy and the blue economy. And we are not really the case of polluting the earth. But on the other hand, we could play a role as well. But the major role and the very expensive role, complicated role, has to be played by the big industrial countries because they are the force behind that.
Okay, Dr. Percent Fahmy, an economic expert, thank you so much for talking to us about the SDGs. And this brings us, unfortunately, to the end of this episode of Cairo Local Time, but stay tuned for more updates on Nile TV.